بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
إذا وقعت الواقعة ليس لوقعتها كاذبة خافضة رافعة إذا رجت الأرض.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We talked a bit about the resurrection, the day of judgment, and we said that Waqiah is the event, the great event. And the Quran mentions the Day of Judgment in different names. Maybe 70 different names, for example, Al-Qari'ah or Al-Waqi'ah, or different names for us to remember how severe of an event it is and a threat that is threatening us in the future. And you see that immediately in the Holy Quran, when mentioning this event that mountains will crumble, the earth will be different. We call these ashrat as-sa'ah, signs of the resurrection, signs of the day of judgment, that people will become dust, that in general everything will be in this mighty universe will be destroyed. So therefore we see that right immediately after Allah speaks about the day of judgment, that He talks about the classification of people. People are in different categories. Or in other surahs, when He talks about the day of judgment, He doesn't just speak about the day of judgment just to talk about it. Then immediately verses follow about our responsibility and being careful of the actions that we perform. So here also you see that right after those few verses of the day of judgment, you see وَكُنْتُمْ Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim وَكُنْتُمْ أَزْوَاجًا ثَلَاثًا. Allah divides us to three groups right after talking about al-Waqi'ah. So be careful. So as a way that it is a threat to you. It's a severe day, a great event happening. So be careful on how you act. Seize the opportunity that you have now in this limited world, in this limited time that you have, and prepare yourselves for the day of judgment. And you see, it is very, very influential or effective in human beings once they know that there's going to be a day, a very threatening day for them. It's going to cause them to act very responsibly, compared to a person that doesn't have anything to worry about. They don't believe in the day of judgment. They don't believe in God. Na'udhu billah. Such a person, they're not careful of their actions. They're not careful of their potential. They're not careful of what kind of category they go to. So we see that the thinking of the hereafter, thinking of death, is one of the most impactful beliefs that humans can have. And once this belief is gone, human beings can do whatever they want. I don't know if you've probably seen in the news or you've heard that when events happen and people thought it was the end of the world, they started, unfortunately, to do more sin because there's no belief. But the believer, if they tell him there's 30 minutes left, there's 1 hour left to this world, the believer would seek forgiveness, would be kinder to others. They use every minute that they can of life because they believe that this life is just a bridge. This life is a place of cultivation where you're cultivating yourself and your actions, and you're building for yourself, gardens and trees, as we have the tradition from the Prophet that he mentioned that the dhikr and the adhkar, we do la ilaha illallah or alhamdulillah, subhanallah, some of these adhkar or remembrance, specific remembrances of God. He said that each one in the tradition is like planting a tree. So then the companion asked and said, well, then we must have gardens. We must have gardens or jungles in the hereafter. And the Prophet reminds him that as long as you do not burn it down, you do not burn it down. So we are careful of our actions, careful the belief in the hereafter. We're careful of, there's a place of cultivation in this world. It's a bridge, how Imam Ali says. You pass a bridge, you don't live in the bridge, you don't stay there. So I want you to go throughout the Quran, and when you read it, remember this note for me. Look at the verses of Day of Judgment, in the hereafter, and then immediately you see about the accountability and responsibility that humans have. In the same way. So after Al-Waqiah is mentioned, the great event, وَكُنْتُمْ أَزْوَاجًا ثَلَاثًا, you are three groups. Now, as if to say, pay attention, that this is the only chance you have. Before the day of judgment happens, before this great event happens, be careful to see which one of these categories do you fit into. Azwaj is the plural of zawj. Okay? So it's the plural of zawj. So it is here used in the sense of category, not partner. So zawj, maybe you've heard of izdawaj or zawj or zawja or marriage, for example, wife, husband. Those are in Arabic as pairs or partners. Here, Allama Tabatabai mentions it to be a category, a class. So this is addressed to all of mankind. وَكُنْتُمْ أَزْوَاجًا ثَلَاثًا. And here you have kuntum, and you are is actually the madi. It is you are, but this sometimes maybe you can say madi used in the future tense means something that is so certain that it will happen for sure, for example. Maybe you could say that. Or in general, you could say you are of these three groups, and whatever you are in this world, you will be in the hereafter. So this is, it's not something that I read, it's something that comes from the dhuhur of the ayah when you use madi. It says you already are. Or you were actually, and it says you were three groups. Why? Because you could say you're already three groups in this world. And we're going to mention, the different groups. So you should already, maybe in a way, have signs. And in a way, there should be a way for you to figure out which kind of category you are. It's not as if you just go to the hereafter and now you have this, completely different disposition. It is whatever you created and you're carrying with yourself here. You should already see it. If you're of the three, you should already see it. As we see, for example, in the Imams. When Imam Ali alayhi salam is of the sabiqun as-sabiqun, the foremost of the foremost, you see that everything about him is sibqa and being in front of everyone. His entire life is as-sabiqun as-sabiqun. So you should be carrying this category, showing this category already in this world. So we see here in the next slide, this follows. So we have فَأَصْحَابُ الْمَيْمَنَةِ مَا أَصْحَابُ الْمَيْمَنَةِ. This is the first group. So a category of three. The first group is Ashabul Maymana. The Ashabul Maymana, the companions of the right, are the ones that have yumn. Maymana comes from yumn, success or great fortune. Okay, you can translate it as Ashabul Maymana, as those that have great fortune or success. The previous verse that it began to explain these three groups. So the first category, Allah starts with the good, alhamdulillah. It doesn't start with the bad. So manner of three categories, the bad first. First, he starts with the good, those that were successful. Inshallah, like you, brothers and sisters. You're successful, you have good fortune, you have iman, alhamdulillah, you worship Allah, you have religion, and so therefore you are ashabul maymana, you have good fortune, success. The opposite is shum, or calamity, or misfortune. Therefore, the people of good fortune, ashabul maymana, are the people of felicity and success, while the people of ill fortune, ashabul mash'ama, are the people of misery and calamities. Okay. The view that maymana refers to the right hand, yameen, because they will be given the record of their deeds on their right hand, while others will be given their deeds to the left hand, is to be rejected. This is because here ashabul maymana is contrasted with ashabul mash'ama. Mash'ama does not refer to left. So whereas if the left was meant, the Quran would have cancelled would have called them ashabul shimal. They're not ashabul shimal. You have to look at the next verse, that's ashabul mash'ama. As for this question, and what are the people of good fortune, it is answered in this way: the people of good fortune. The construction of this verse intend to magnify and aggrandize them, to show, وَمَا أَصْحَابُ الْمَيْمَنَةِ. What are they? Ask. فَأَصْحَابُ الْمَيْمَنَةِ مَا أَصْحَابُ الْمَيْمَنَةِ. What are they? So this type of question, you could say, is to magnify them. and you say that al-qari'ah wa ma qari'ah, al-qari'atu ma qari'ah, for example. Or sometimes it says, so you have this Arabic, Arabic construction here used to signify how important something is with this question. Ma ashabul maymana. What are the companions of good fortune? You don't really know. And how our teacher, Sheikh Ahmad al-Mushtahidi, would repetitively say that a lot of times I said that, you will be able to know what kind of category you are in this world. But that doesn't mean that the people of the world will be able to truly value and to truly know the worth of the good believers or the people of good fortune. There might be people that have a lot of good fortune. They might be poor. They might be their clothes in a way is not as, attractive as the people that have very clean clothes and very, distinguished clothes. Maybe people look at them in a way and they're oppressed, for example. But they have lots of value in Allah's eyes. So our teacher Sheikh Ahmad al-Mushtahidi would always say, when he say this about the students of the Hawza, he would keep saying that people don't know your worth when you're a student, or you right now when you're students of knowledge, students of the Quran, that people don't know your value. And he says, when you take, for example, a precious stone, and most people don't know how to distinguish a precious stone. They look at it, maybe it's fake, maybe it's real, we don't know, it looks shiny, I don't know. But then when they take this precious stone to a jeweler, and he looks at it and examines it and maybe tests it with the diamond clarity, and to see, how much, what color it has, how much clarity it has or whatever, then he says, wow, this is worth something very great. This is, worth, maybe it's priceless or whatever. So he would say the angels are the ones that know your worth. They know that, mashallah, in this time period, mashallah, in this land, there are a group of believers that are worshipping Allah, seeking His knowledge. People might not really at work or at school, they might think you're someone normal or nice. Or, oh, hi, they're a nice person. Yeah, hi, thank you very much, you're good. But it takes that jeweler, which are the angels, say, oh no, this is a believer, this is follower of Ali ibn Abi Talib, which we'll mention, as-sabiqun are like those, the followers of Ali alayhi salam, Imam Ali, the followers of Ali. So therefore, when you say ma ashabul maymana, Allah is in a way, maybe boasting or talking, very magnifying the station of the companions, not of the right hand, the companions of good fortune. May Allah inshallah make us of ashabul maymana, inshallah. May Allah make us our progeny, inshallah, of ashabul maymana, inshallah, our children, ashabul maymana. And this would be the opposite. These are people that are shaqi. These are people that have failed the test. These are people that maybe in this world they have lots of position and status, but when it comes to the hereafter, they're ashabul mash'ama, they're ill fortune. And they wish they didn't have that wealth, they didn't have that power, so they wouldn't oppress. Sometimes you see, what is going on recently in Gaza, and you see, verses of Quran that, talk about, let me bring one of these, beautiful verses to talk about the fact that people wish they had another chance, that this ashabul mash'ama wish that God would delay their punishment, because when they have power, when someone has power, I can actually, I'm stopping to share, but inshallah you can see me. When people have power and they do bad things with that power, they do dhulm and oppression to people. The worst type of dhulm and oppression is bad. But especially when you oppress the weak. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, in one of his last du'as that he does on the day of Karbala, one of the last I apologize, not du'a, one of the last pieces of advice he gives in the day of Karbala, before he's shaheed, is narrated that he tells his son Ali ibn al-Hussein about warning people against doing dhulm to a person that has no one to protect them but Allah. Says he warns, one of the last advice that Imam Hussein gives is warning to, be cruel or to oppress a person that has no one to protect them. Sometimes when, a person is oppressed, they harm them, they have an older brother, they have some good friends, they come to their aid. Or they have a tribe to back them, a family to back them. They won't allow you, they come to them and say, we won't allow you. But there are those people in this world that they don't have anyone. They don't have anyone from God. And Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, I warn you of this type of dhulm, that you oppress someone that doesn't have anyone but Allah to protect them, that doesn't have protection, you can say. Maybe like now we see here the last group, and it's very interesting when you see Quran. And I want you to imagine if you were to divide humans. A lot of people say, okay, they're good or they're bad, right? Or you can say they're really good or they're really bad. But Allah doesn't divide it this way. He divides it into ill fortune, good fortune, ill fortune, and then divides it into the forerunners. As-sabiqun, as-sabiqun. He talks about a group of people that are super, super good. They're in front of everyone, and they are the best of the best. So let's talk about this group. So that's not a logical, if we the way that we would divide things, we maybe divide into four. Good, bad, really good, really bad. Allah doesn't talk about really bad. Just talks about ashab al-mashhur. Doesn't waste our time with just talking too much about the worst of the worst right now. He talks about good, bad, or really good for encouragement. Now, don't think in a way, oh insan, oh mankind, don't think you're just going to heaven or going to hell. That is your, for example, or you reach the highest of positions or you reach the lowest. You'll be ill fortune or good fortune. Think of it this way, that mankind, you can be actually the foremost. You can be the highest, the forerunner. So let's examine who are the forerunners. And so therefore we see that in life, our goal is not just to pass and just say, okay, alhamdulillah, we passed, and we're going into heaven, we're not going to hell, that's it, that's my goal. No. My goal is to become the best of the best. My goal is to reach completion. And that is that, that internal drive that everyone has to be complete, to not be insufficient. So Allah now is, you can say in a way, speaking to our inner drive, our inner feelings that we want to be perfect, we want to reach the best, and we should. So let's talk about this group. وَالصَّابِقُونَ الصَّابِقُونَ, the أُولَٰئِكَ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ, they are the closest. So the sabiqun as-sabiqun, the most appropriate verses to explain the identity of the foremost ones, the foremost as-sabiqun, are this. Yet some of them are those who wrong themselves, and some of them are average, and some of them are those who take the lead in all good works by Allah's will. 35-32. So there's some that take lead into the sibqa of all good works of Allah. So this is the way that, one of the ways that Allama understands this, that sibqa to what? Foremost to what? Foremost to all of good works. When it comes to charity, sabiqun. When it comes to salat, sabiqun. When it comes to helping others, sabiqun. When it comes to helping, for example, the oppressed, sabiqun. Therefore, the meaning of the foremost ones, in its first instance, is this verse, are those who take the lead and are foremost in good work. You ever see, for example, someone that comes to class, they're the first ones to sit there. Even though I might have a delay or whatever, they're sitting there. And our teachers will always say, those that have the most amount of nur are usually the first ones there. They're sitting there waiting for the teacher to come, because they're sabiqun. Those that go to the masjid first, those that go to the center first, those that, when it comes to who's going to help the center in raising money at first. So they are in a different category than just ashabul maymana, the people of good fortune. They are the front runners. So it says that when they take the lead in good work, they are foremost in receiving God's forgiveness and mercy in response. So also Allah's mercy will be for the sabiqun. And he talked about His rahmah being in a way that He's taking away any type of need that we have. He's fulfilling our needs. So the first person's need will be fulfilled are the sabiqun. Therefore, those who take lead in good work are the first to receive God's mercy. This is the meaning of the foremost ones are the foremost ones. This is as-sabiqun. He says, are sabiqun ila rahmatillah. That's how the way he understands this verse. So when you say as-sabiqun, because there's two as-sabiquns. As-sabiqun, as-sabiqun. So as-sabiqun, the front runners, the ones that are the first in good work, are as-sabiqun when they attain God's mercy. Then we have have said the first instance of affirmation is the subject of the sentence, and the second is repetition for emphasis. Some say just say as-sabiqun, and then as-sabiqun is repetition. That's the second opinion. But as we said, Allah says as-sabiqun, the forerunners, are the first to receive God's mercy. Scholars have suggested a number of possible interpretations for the foremost ones. Some have said they are the ones who hasten to everything that God calls them towards. Others say that they are the ones who were the first to believe in obedience, embraced both without delay. The first ones to be mu'min, the first persons to have iman. Others still say that they are the prophets because they are the pioneers of people's faith. Maybe as-sabiqun are the prophets. So who are these groups? Who do you think are sabiqun? Then there are those who say that it refers to the believers from Pharaoh's people, right? So one of them was, mu'mina ala Fir'aun, which, just to tell you, so some don't know who he was. Mu'mina ala Fir'aun, let me find it here. The believer, he's called the believer of Pharaoh's people. Mu'mina ala Fir'aun was when Pharaoh's cousin, who was Pharaoh's cousin and treasurer, he hid his belief in God, did taqiyya. He then revealed his faith in order to save the life of Musa alayhi salam. So then he said that I'm a mu'min. He came to save Prophet Moses' life. He was in a safe hiding with his belief, but then he wanted to save Prophet Moses' life and was killed by Pharaoh because of his faith. So verses 28 to 45 of Quran talk about the story of Pharaoh's people. And so therefore, that is, mu'min ala Fir'aun. We also say that he, in the traditions we have, that he also said to return after the reappearance of Imam Mahdi. Mu'min ala Fir'aun, which was Pharaoh's cousin and treasurer, will be one of those that do raj'ah and come back. When Imam Mahdi reappears, he'll come back. So let's go back to that. So that's Mu'min ala Fir'aun. Then we have Habib al-Najjar, who we talked about in Surah Yasin. Those that joined us in 3620 talk about a person that came to help the other prophets that came in that town, and he was killed. So Habib al-Najjar was shaheed. And the others say Imam Ali alayhi salam is of the sabiqun, who was the first to believe in the Prophet and the best and the foremost when it came to war, Imam Ali. When it came to protection of the Prophet, Imam Ali. When it came to obedience of the Prophet, Imam Ali. Others say the foremost one are those who hasten to migrate to Medina, those that first migrated. Others say those that hasten to do their daily prayers, those that do salat, for example, the first ones to do salat. Still others say that this term refers to those believers who prayed towards both qiblas. They prayed towards Quds, and then after Quds they changed to Mecca, then they prayed to both. Then some say they are the ones who hasten to strive in the way of Allah, those that did jihad, for example. And there are other opinions beside this. The first two opinions cited here both return to the interpretation we have offered, that we're saying that the foremost to receive in action, to do anything good. That's the opinion that Allama Tabatabai has, that it is the people that are the foremost in general to do things good. And he says the other ones are best understood in providing examples for the foremost. And then when you say these categories that Imam Ali, Habib al-Najjar, or Mu'min ala Fir'aun, they are just tamthil, they are examples. So in the Quran, there's no problem, as our teachers in Qawm would say, don't tie up the hands of God. So God talks about as-sabiqun to talk in addressing us, right, and saying that the foremost of the foremost, to encourage us to be the foremost, the first one to receive God's mercy. But what is the instance? You would say, well, the instance is Imam Ali alayhi salam. It wouldn't be in a way you could interpret it like saying it's only about Imam Ali. This doesn't have any encouragement for you. It's Imam Ali. That's it. It's just fada'il of Imam Ali. No, it is for, you could say the dhuhur, you could say that it is as-sabiqun in general. They are the first to receive God's mercy. Then who are the best? Who are the first? Imam Ali. We said this Surah Al-Waqiah, some call it also the Surah of Imam Ali, because it's known for as-sabiqun, as-sabiqun. And truly everything that Imam Ali alayhi salam did, every salat, worship, he was the best at it and the first at it. And he was always the foremost to obey Allah. To obey Allah. So therefore, you can say this surah is the Surah of Imam Ali because as-sabiqun, as-sabiqun. Of course, this is after, as-sabiqun to follow the Prophet. So let's talk about, we have 2 more slides. And let's talk about some of the hadith we have here. Okay. So when it comes to hadith, and some of the narrations we have, read this Tafsir Qumi. This is Ali, we talked about, remember the sources of tafsir, and this is one of the older tafsirs, is Ali ibn Ibrahim Qumi, who is one of the main teachers of Sheikh Kulaini, who compiled Al-Kafi, and one of the main narrators of Al-Kafi is Ali ibn Ibrahim Al-Qumi, who is buried in Qum. When the imminent event falls, which is Al-Waqiah, there's no denying it will befall. He said the resurrection is truly lowering, khafadatul rafi'ah. The enemies of God will be lowered, raising the friends of God. When the earth is shaken violently, when its parts crash together and mountains are shattered, in this hadith is talking about the first part of the surah. The mountains are torn out in their roots and become scattered dust, like the motes you see floating in a sunbeam. You will be 3 groups, the day of resurrection, in the day of resurrection, the people of good fortune, the people of, what are the people of good fortune? And the people of ill fortune, and the foremost of the foremost, those who will be the foremost in reaching paradise. So author says, when al-Qumi, those who will be the foremost in reaching paradise. So the hadith, this part, is there will be as-sabiqun reaching paradise, according to this hadith. So one of the hadith says, as-sabiqun to what? To the reward. So then Allama Tabatabai says, those who will be the foremost in reaching paradise. This is the explanation of the second instance of the foremost. So remember we said, as-sabiqun to do good work, and as-sabiqun to reach reward. So they'll be the first ones to enter paradise. So he matches what the dhuhur that he understands of the Quran is, what the apparent meaning is, what the traditions. And so this tradition is talking about the second part of the reward. Majmu al-Bayan Tabrisi, another important book, quotes Imam Baqir alayhi salam saying the foremost are 4 people. The slain son of Adam. Who's the slain son of Adam? Habil. Qabil killed Habil. So Qabil is the qatil. You can remember with Qaf. The forerunner of Moses' nation, we talked about Pharaoh's treasure, that he gave his life for Musa alayhi salam. The forerunner of Isa's nation. So according to this, Habib al-Najjar was during the time period after Isa. So it was in the religion of it was Islam, but from the way of life or the Sharia of Isa alayhi salam, Habib al-Najjar, and the Ummah of Isa. And the forerunners of Muhammad's nation, Ali ibn Abi Talib, mashallah. So you see what a beautiful hadith this is. So as-sabiqun are 4 people. First was the first killed, the first madhlum. And you see the reward to be such a good person, Habil, good son of Adam. His father is a prophet. And then to be killed in the way of Allah for being good. He is sabiqun as-sabiqun. So that's the foremost, the first one. Now we talk about other followers of other prophets. So from Adam, his son. Now we talk about the 3 main other prophets, Musa, Isa, Muhammad. So the sabiqun of Moses' nation was Mu'min al Fir'aun. The sabiqun of Isa, Jesus' nation, was Habib al-Najjar. shaheed. Moses' nation also shaheed. All of them were killed, by the way. Isa alayhi salam, Habib Najjar was shaheed. And then Ali ibn Abi Talib, who also was shaheed. And sometimes you see, in the narrations that the Prophet talks about Imam Ali. And I was reading this narration. It's just amazing that the Prophet made a specific dua. The Prophet made, many people don't know this, the Prophet made a dua that while he was alive, that Ali wouldn't be shaheed. That he would send him to the most dangerous parts in battles, fighting the worst, the most biggest monsters in the world. And the Prophet was concerned for Imam Ali. And the tradition has that he made dua that Imam Ali would not be killed before he left this world. That first he would leave this world, and that Imam Ali would be killed, that he wouldn't see the death of Ali ibn Abi Talib. But then in the same tradition says, but I still prayed for his shahadat. I still wanted Allah to make him a shaheed in a way, because he deserved it, he wanted it. I wanted him to be martyred, but not while I'm alive. That's the love that the Prophet had for Imam Ali in hadith. This is in hadith. Amaliyah Shaykh Mufid narrates in the chain of transmission from Ibn Abbas, talking about some of the hadith about Surah Al-Waqiah, As-Sabiqun, As-Sabiqun. I asked the Messenger of God about the verse, and the foremost ones of the foremost ones. They are the ones brought near to the gardens of bliss. He said, Gibreel told me. So this is beautiful hadith from Shaykh Mufid. So Ibn Abbas says, I asked the Messenger of God, who are these As-Sabiqun, As-Sabiqun? Very good. He asked, good question, Ibn Abbas. Good job. Thank you for asking. And then the Prophet says, Jibreel told me. This is why we need hadith. Jibreel told me these are Ali, Sabiqun, Sabiqun, Ali and his supporters. MashaAllah, let's give a salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. As-Sabiqun, As-Sabiqun are Ali and his supporters. You know what this means? I just came to my mind when I thought of this. It means that, O Shia, O followers of Imam Ali, O Shia, that the true religion and true interpretations you have, you should be as-sabiqun, as-sabiqun in action. You should be the first. You should be the best. Because your Imam Ali alayhi salam was the best, and you're classified as them, as as-sabiqun, as-sabiqun. And as-sabiqun means the first to do good work. So I tell this to myself and to you, you should be the first one and the best one in action. Don't just say, I'm best because I'm a follower of Imam Ali, therefore I'm the best. You should, because Imam Ali is your Imam, and our Prophet is your, the Rasul. You should, in terms of all worship, all kindness, patience, resistance, helping the oppressed, you should be the best, as we see today. That those that help the oppressed truly are as-sabiqun, as-sabiqun. The ones that help the oppressed, they are the Shia. They are the ones, the front and foremost helping the oppressed. Kamal ad-Din as-Saduq relates, this chain from Haytham al-Kufi, from Babbar alayhi salam. We are the foremost ones, and the foremost ones are, we are the later ones. So, anyway, so we are the foremost ones we are the Ahlul Bayt, are all of them, not just Imam Ali, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, to Imam Mahdi, Imams. We are the foremost. We are Sabiqun, As-Sabiqun. In Uyun Akhbar Rida alayhi salam narrated that Saduq narrates from a chain to Imam Ali the verse, and the foremost As-Sabiqun, As-Sabiqun, they are the ones brought near, was revealed about me. Ali alayhi salam says, this verse was revealed about me, As-Sabiqun, As-Sabiqun. So you want to know a verse, say one of the fada'il of Imam Ali, just say As-Sabiqun, As-Sabiqun. How much honor did Allah honor Imam Ali alayhi salam in the Quran? How many verses of the fada'il and virtue of Imam Ali are throughout the Quran? The Quran is a book explaining, every time it talks about those who believe, who is the first one to believe, who is the best to believe. Ali. Every time it talks about Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who have believed, it's Tama Imam Ali, or those that have taqwa, or those that have piety. Imam Ali is in that verse, because he's the best instance. But this hadith says, As-Sabiqun, As-Sabiqun is about me. In It is said that it refers to, in Tabarsi Majma' Bayan, it says to those who hasten to the 5 daily prayers, those that pray the best, those that pray the first, they are sabiqun as-sabiqun. Authors comment, the proper understanding of all these narrations is that they are providing exemplars. They are exemplars, instances of as-sabiqun as-sabiqun, but this is for everyone. That you will be the first to do good action, and this is encouragement, inshallah, for us to be those that help the most, and those that worship the most, those that believe the fastest, and those that are the best of people. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين.
خافضة رافعة إذا رجت الأرض رجا وبست الجبال بسا فكانت هباء